And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. So do me a favor, hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share, because the insanity, it's not stopping. Meanwhile, Trump goes on and he brags about how amazing of a deal maker that he is. Well, need I remind you, whatever happened to the 90 deals in 90 days? Or let's just say the classic 2-week delay tactic. I mean, if he's so great at making these deals, why are we in a government shutdown? What happened, for example, to the $17 trillion that allegedly we've taken in? Why is Trump threatening then to fire people instead of just making a deal with the Democrats? Well, on Mea Culpa, I break down how Trump's so-called art of the deal has really become the art of the shutdown, and why this chaos is hitting his own voters even harder than it's hitting the Democrats. Play the clip.
When the government is shut down, you're not going to have the day-to-day interaction. You need to call someone at a federal employee. They're just not going to be there. You know, the checks will go out, but as far as the services that we count on, you know, you need to talk to someone, for example, at the IRS. Not only are you not going to be able to get someone now, you may not be able to get someone in the future because the Trump administration has cut so many people from there. So this is part of an overall strategy to doge the federal government, that what could not be accomplished via doge could be accomplished now. On the other hand, really, the Democrats are forced into this. This was not something the Democrats wanted, but they just couldn't capitulate any further. And they've been run over by Trump and his administration. And the Democratic base has said enough is enough. Stand up for yourselves. And that's where we are. And it's so routine these days to have these things. You remember the last time we had it? It was also under President Trump, right? We didn't have this under Biden.
I think it was 2017, right? Or was it 2018? Yeah.
So what's crazy is that you have the person who is the art of the deal, supposedly the best deal maker, is the only president where we've had these shutdowns in recent memory.
Well, I think we also had one under Obama, if I'm not mistaken.
That's years ago, though. You know, how many years ago?
But it's still my recent memory. You know, but here's the thing, right? Understand, I'm not a fan of Chuck Schumer. Never was, never will be. He threw the towel in. He capitulated last time. And so what did you expect Republicans were going to do? You know, I heard Jamie Gangle say this, and it's an adage that I remember. I had a history teacher, didn't like him either, in 7th grade. And he used to say the same exact comment. He was talking about something very different, though, when he was saying, don't play chicken with a guy who's willing to crash his car. And that's exactly who Donald Trump is. Now, of course, my history teacher at the time was trying to make it seem like, oh, he's a tough guy, right? You know, that he doesn't care. He's willing, you know, to crash the car. Don't fuck around with him. But it's very different when you're talking about Trump here. He is willing to burn the country down for what he wants to accomplish. And why Democrats didn't take that into consideration and figure out how to push this. We knew this was coming. This is not a surprise to Republicans. It's certainly not a surprise to Democrats, and it certainly isn't a surprise to independents. So why not try to figure out how to water down the poison so that we don't end up in a situation like we're in right now?
Well, what's amazing is that the people who are most vulnerable are going to be generally Trump voters, people who are in the rural communities who don't have, who depend on federal services. For example, how about military families? Military families you would think would largely have supported Trump, possibly, but you know that they're required to work without pay, even as they keep working. It's crazy, right? Or they're furloughed. And many of these families live paycheck to paycheck. So this is really damaging for them. And then when it comes to other vulnerable populations, people who need federal benefits, that's the kind of thing that could run out. Low-income food assistance, Head Start programs, that could face some interruptions, some closure. I mean, it seems like the people who voted for Trump, his base, are the ones who are going to be hurt the most.
Well, I think everybody's going to get hurt. In fact,
most.
I think it's hard to quantify who's going to get hurt the most. Everybody, Republican, Democrat, Independent. It's, the problem is shutdown doesn't ask you what's your political affiliation, because I'm hearing about millions potentially losing access, for example, to Medicaid reimbursements and SNAP benefits, all being frozen for these low-income families, the people who need government assistance the most. So the question I actually really want to ask you is, what kind of permanent damage does this do to the societal safety net that so many people rely upon?
I don't think the shutdown is going to provide a permanent damage to the safety net. I think it's the Trump administration policies through DOGE that is a greater threat. It's the big, beautiful bill that cut billions of dollars from the Medicaid program. That's what you'll see lasting repercussions from. This is temporary. And I do think that they'll reach some agreement like they always do, and then things are back on. The fact you can just see that we're so used to this by now that the stock market originally took a dive and now it's up again because it's like more of the same. Now, if this thing goes on, then things could change. But I think the lasting repercussions are not from this. It's from the big, beautiful bill. It's from the Trump tax cuts, which are not offset by spending cuts. And so now you have massive deficits, $3 trillion additional debt. Who's going to pay for that? It's our
you know who's going to pay for it. The foreign countries and tariffs that are bringing in $17 trillion in the first 9. Why are you laughing? Do you not think that we have taken in $17 trillion, more than 50 some odd % of our entire annual GDP?
Yeah, who pays for tariffs? It's not foreign governments, right? It's the importers, and they pass along to American consumers. So yeah. And by the way, the American government may have to pay back those importers depending on what happens at the Supreme Court. That's up in the air right now. So yeah, it's a mess. And I don't think the tariffs have been fully felt in our economy. There are certain signs out there that we could be heading towards a recession. I hope not. We'll see what happens. But it's a tough time right now, which is important for people to speak up and speak out. And I do sense, Michael, that at first when Trump took over, people were demoralized, but now I think things have changed. I think people now are emboldened. I think maybe Jimmy Kimmel is a sign of that.
Yeah, maybe. You know who's also demoralized? Our farmers. I mean, get a load of this. So they now decide that they are going to bail out Venezuela. Right? For what reason? I don't even know how a conversation like that even transpired. I mean, I don't even understand. How did it start? How did it take place? We're bailing out Venezuela. Meanwhile, the first thing that they do is they then make a deal with China to sell China all the soy that America isn't selling to China, literally cutting out all of our farmers who now could basically take their billions of bushels of soy and stuff it up their ass because there is no marketplace. All that soy was already previously sold to China, who's now not buying it from the United States because Venezuela is now undercutting the market and selling it to them at a better price. I mean, if this isn't the stupidest deal, I mean, this is certainly not the way the book, The Art of the Deal, is supposed to go, right?
Yeah, right. We're doing American farmers where we put tariffs on them, which means they lose sales, they lose income, and then we use tax dollars to reimburse them for the money lost. Make it make sense.
I don't know. As long as that 17 trillion keeps coming in, we're going to be just fine, right?
Right. Yeah. Don't spend that money yet.
Yeah, that's for sure. So meanwhile, look, Republicans blame Democrats for refusing to cut programs. Democrats return and blame Republicans for political hostage taking. I mean, this shit's like a broken record. In reality, who's actually responsible for this mess?
Most people I've seen polls blame President Trump. I do think that it's more on the administration. After all, who controls the White House? The Republicans. Who controls the Senate? The Republicans. Who controls the House? The Republicans. Who controls the Supreme Court? The conservatives. So it's hard to blame this on the Democrats.
Okay. So then my question to you is, how then do the Republicans continue to put out this message that this is all the Democrats, it's all their fault, all they want to do is provide health coverage to illegal migrants to the tune of like, I don't know, what did they say? 10 million plus people that the system can't. And it's not like one makes this bullshit lie. It's every single one of them parrots the next one. And as Stalin used to say, repeat the lie as often as you can until the lie becomes the truth.
Undocumented immigrants cannot receive Medicare or any federally funded Medicaid benefits. Period. The end. I mean, that's it. And so that's why this is a lie. This whole thing's a lie. The only time they could get it is that in cases of some emergency, they can get limited emergency services. We don't want people to die in our streets. But some states then use their own funds really to provide for that. So as far as federal spending on healthcare for undocumented migrants, that's already illegal. So this whole thing that Democrats are pushing to add funds for that, no, it's already illegal. You can't use funds for that. So, this is gamesmanship. And I do think that the public is tired of it. And a lot of people are tuning out because we've seen this movie before.
Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.